Yeah. So yeah, I think the way you're reacting is very good. I think we have a responsibility. You recognise that. You're in a position where you have many friends and contacts established over many years of hard and very productive work, building up the particularly the next generation of the young people in Ukraine who want a democratic future for Ukraine, who you've been working with. So it's a terrible shock. It's not perhaps so much of a surprise to you as it is to other people waking up this morning, but it's still a terrible shock. And our first thoughts, of course, are with our friends and all of the people we've been working with in Ukraine. Our message to them is please try and stay safe. We are here. We want to do everything we possibly can to help.
Yeah, I was very, between angry, between absolutely shocked by this events after working, for 40 years fighting for peace and bringing East and West together, starting in Soviet times, and preventing such a situation. No, it's happening in a form of aggression. I think it's unbelievable what's happening. And the West, what do you think from you have been a member of UK Parliament, you are now head of the New Europeans. What is your view of the role of Europe and whether mistakes and what must be done after this event? Because I think this day changed really the world.
Well, I think there will come a moment when we have to analyze what Europe has done and what Europe has not done. I mean, the European Union in the years leading up to this moment. But it's not the European Union that's invading Ukraine this morning. It's Vladimir Putin and the Russian regime. And he must be held to account. And he must not be allowed to succeed in what he is trying to do. But I say again, our first thoughts are with the citizens of Ukraine, the people who are in Ukraine at the moment, all of those who we know well and we've been working with. We are, of course, desperately anxious about their safety. They are going to be in fear of their lives. They're going to be separated from family and from loved ones, who knows for how long. And they're going to be thinking to themselves that their dreams of a democratic Ukraine and a European future for Ukraine are in tatters. And on that last point, I want to send a very clear message on behalf of New Europeans that that dream must be kept alive. And it must be kept alive in the hearts or minds of the free people of Ukraine, and it must be kept alive in the work that organizations in civil society and political leaders do in the European Union and in the rest of Europe. What we need is actions, not just words. And we must keep that perspective, the European future for Ukraine, alive. Remember 8 years ago when we stood in solidarity with those who were risking their lives protesting on the Euromaidan. It's about an association agreement with the European Union and Ukraine. And seeing the pictures this morning as the first lives are lost in this conflict, one might think it's not the moment to talk about the EU-Ukraine association agreement. But my feeling is we must never lose sight of the fact that Ukraine's destiny is in the future is a democratic one, as a free society and part of the European family of nations. And we will never forget that, and we will never give that dream up.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you in this case, because my fear is that we, when you look back, we have had some steps the war in Armenia is a new, when you put it all together, what's happening in Armenia with the Russian troops in Caucasus, then the Belarus suppression of the demonstration against stolen elections in Belarus, to know the open war in Ukraine and what's next. This is a question which is also a threat for a whole democratic Europe, and that is a really important thing for all our future. And Ukraine is a main part of our future, is my opinion. And we have to resist beside Ukraine in this situation, whatever this military situation means. The heads of the people are the main points.
Well, I don't want to be the one to try and second guess what Putin is going to do next, but I can certainly share my fears with you and fears of others in our organization who I've been talking to this morning. It looks as if Putin wants to create maximum of chaos and confusion and conflict and destruction. And he's probably not got his sights fixed just on Ukraine. You mentioned Belarus. In effect, he's already annexed Belarus, it seems to me. But I would think that people inside the European Union, in member states of the European Union, in Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, would be particularly concerned about what's going on. And the Lithuanian president has declared a state of emergency in Lithuania. Of course, those member states are member states of the European Union. They're also members of NATO, and so there is a protective shield. But you mentioned Azerbaijan and Armenia and the conflict there, and I think very little commented on in the last few days has been the fact that the president of Azerbaijan was in Moscow 2 or 3 days ago. So it may be that Putin is going to start many fires burning.
Yeah, and now at the moment, I think we need, as Europeans, also really a new view about the aggression potential to Putin, to the Putin regime. What do you think about the sanctions, also the sanctions and of what Boris Johnson in Great Britain did, because London is one of the main points of stolen Russian capital?
Well, the sanctions are, of course, absolutely necessary, and they need to be put on as quickly as possible, and they need to be put on as strongly as possible and as extensively as possible. But I don't believe that sanctions by themselves are going to be enough. I don't have a suggestion to make about what else we should be doing, but I think we should remember as citizens that what is it that Putin wants from us? What's the role that Putin wants the citizens of Europe and the European Union to play in this crisis? It's pretty clear to me, and we've seen him interfering, for example, in the Brexit referendum and in many other ways with his disinformation machine and with everything aimed at polarizing, at dividing people. He must be taking the bet that we in Europe are not really, we don't care enough about our values to stand up and really defend them when the crisis really comes. He must be thinking to himself, the European Union is a very, very easy place to polarize. It's a very easy place to divide. It's a very easy place to sow disinformation. And of course, the other thing that we've seen in recent years, and we're going to see again now, not just from Putin, but we started to see this from Belarus, on the Polish-Belarus border, is migration being weaponized, migration being used as an instrument of politics, as an instrument of war. What is going to be the impact on the European Union of potentially millions of Ukrainians coming to the European Union as refugees? And this will be something that Putin will, I imagine, be very keen to promote, because he understands how destabilizing and how challenging that's going to be for the European Union. So I think it's important for all of us as citizens, and I was a member of Parliament, but now I speak as a citizen. I think it's all of us as citizens, and as the leader of the civil rights movement, New Europeans in Europe, I think it's important for all of us to say at a time like this, it's important that we stand together. It's important that we stand up and say what it is that we believe in. It's important that we show solidarity with the free citizens of Ukraine, and that we don't let Putin divide us, polarize us, spread false information, that we stand firm in the face of this evil, and that all of us, starting with ourselves as citizens, reflect on what we can do in this crisis to try to stabilize the situation, de-escalate the situation, and most of all, support and stand with the people of Ukraine.
Yeah, standing with the people and standing with the people in Western Europe too, as a unified continent, and the peace project, European Union, is really under pressure at the moment, and solidarity is the only answer. I also think is one of the most important things.
I think people want to know what it is that they can do. And I think one of the things that they can do is to be aware about the disinformation that is put about by Putin and by the Russian regime. And I think another thing they can do is reach out to organizations, keep themselves informed, be aware, organizations that are in particular working with the Ukraine and Belarus diaspora. And to really reach out and say, we care about you, we're here. We want to work together to meet the challenges that are coming upon us now. And that challenge of a wave of migration, a new big wave of migration into Europe, we need to respond calmly, with solidarity, and in a way that is true to our values and does not allow us to be divided. And I think each and every citizen has an obligation, in my view, a responsibility to reflect about that, to talk to our friends and neighbors, and to make sure that as many people come as refugees into Europe, that they find that they are welcome here, because this is about the future of Europe. It's not just about the future of Ukraine. And that is certainly in Putin's mind, and it must be in our mind as citizens of Europe too. It's a moment when really you could do with a statesman, a big statesman or a stateswoman in Europe, who could stand up and say these things. We don't live in those times, but I think each of us as citizens can stand up and say what we believe in, and say what we're prepared to do to defend the values and that underpin the European project, and which are really the foundation for our daily lives in Europe today. We are not going to allow Putin to divide us. We're not going to allow Putin to tell us that we don't care about our values in Europe. And we are certainly going to stand with and help in practical ways the people of Ukraine, including the many, many hundreds of thousands who will come to the member states of the European Union in the coming days and months.
Yeah, I think that's a really important statement, Roger. We will make, I hope, Media Dialogue TV extras in the next days to inform with our partners in the Media Dialogue project about the situation in Ukraine, and to have a view on the effects of this war crime which happens today. And so let's cross the fingers for a peaceful development, and let's keep. We are in touch, and let's keep in touch in the next days. So thank you very much that it was possible that we make this talk today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Wolfgang, for everything you're doing.